and act as a crystal radio set, bring in frequency. In many cases on the planet, and certainly in the US where they fluoridated water, our pineals become calcified because calcium, when you take fluoride, it makes calcium crust up on your pineal. And so that can crust it up. But I think there are other crusty things too, because people who haven't had fluoride don't necessarily have their pineal. I don't know. But anyway, it's a crystalline antenna. We currently understand ourselves to have two-strand DNA. There are actually 12 strands of DNA that were original human template is a light-filled, awakened God consciousness that is walking around in the virtual 3D reality where it can also experience its creations, right? That's the original with 12 strands. Now, there's stories out there, and they're wonderful as far as they go, that our DNA was closed down, shut down to where we only have two strands. And can only perceive just so much information, and it's the scarcity-based, separation opponents taking, taking what you have, the greed, the struggle, the knife fight, what I call the knife fight existence of struggling for limited resource scarcity, having enemies, being separated. That's all because our DNA up and above isn't activated, but it's still there. It's still there. It is now activating, and I'll come back to. I said earlier, you'll hear a lot. It's being activated. Well, yes, it is. We're being offered energetic states in which it's activated, and we're vibrating in a place in which it's activated. But it's not being done. It never can be done to us. The fish that ever first wanted to be able to jump out of the ocean and try walking on land to get something or to get away from a predator, he wanted it. It wasn't just that his DNA gave him permission to do it. He was reaching for it. That again that idea tracks back to something Seth had taught me, that evolution does not come first. What we think of as evolution, consciousness first. Consciousness wanting to grow and expand is what drives, air quotes here for those of you not seeing me, evolution. And so our conscious, even though for whatever reason, whichever story we follow as to why the rest of our 12-strand DNA was deactivated, wasn't removed, it was deactivated somewhere along the way. And I'm going to say there's probably more than one story about who struck John, who, what, why, when, where. I've heard several of the stories. But what I'm going to say is this: at the end of the day, after you've been in fear, lack, scarcity, adversarialness, nothing feels true, but you're expanding, your heart is expanding, and it's like this isn't wonderful for me. I need more. I want more. I want to expand. What is that? That's your consciousness reaching for more. And it is my personal belief, you can all go with, mix and match with any story that's out there about how that played or plays out on the ground. Our consciousness is reaching and for more expansion, higher, the love and abundance that we are, the light that we are. And that is asking for our DNA to come back online. And then our DNA is expressing our ability to be in those higher vibrations, bringing our pineal back online, bringing the 12 strands back online. Remember, the epigeneticist Bruce Lipton said, your DNA does and creates in your body what you tell it is the case, what you tell it is true, which is why some people can walk on hot coals and not get burned, because they have sincerely told their DNA, not from third density lens, from the true intention lens. They've said, my cells don't have to think they have to get burned. And they don't. And so what I'm saying is if DNA is activated by our consciousness at the physical level, oh yeah, my whole family has schizophrenia, so I'm going to have a problem. Or, oh yeah, my whole,
Mhm.
okay, whatever we're telling it, if it's true at that level, it's true at the higher level. Paul Selig's guide said, what is true is always true,
Mhm.
right? Otherwise, it's just temporary rules and suggestions. But what is true is always true. And what I'm saying is, what is true is consciousness. Consciousness uses DNA to express what it's ready to try out and have. And I'm saying that I personally believe, and again, you all can run with whatever I say and leave the rest. I personally believe our consciousness collectively and individually is crying out for expansion. It's like we've had enough. We've taken as far as we could take that whole negative, fear based, scarcity based, opponent based. We've had enough, and we just know there's something else. Yeah, we're the fish reaching out for, hey, maybe I can get up on that shore. That's I think that's what we are, you guys. So having said that, we're in this transition. We're lighting up our DNA.